What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mile High Hockey presented by our good friends at Mountain High Appliance. Mike, we'll obviously chat today and in more days throughout this week, but the Avalanche all of a sudden on the brink of elimination, lose a really frustrating game 6-2 last night to the Dallas Stars. A couple unlucky bounces right from the jump, had them behind the eight ball. They made it 3-2. But then a questionable penalty on Sam Malinsky let the Stars get it 4-2, 5-2, and that was basically all she wrote. What was your biggest takeaway from just a weird night in Dallas?
Well, it was a weird night, but ultimately it came down to this. It came down to Dallas came out with that sense of urgency, sense of desperation. I know in Dallas they're taking bows for the job that Peter DeBoer did, benching or pulling Jake Ottinger after the second period in game 4 and how that helped,
I guess, waving the white flag.
But their idea was that this lit a fire under him, right? Yeah. And that he also called out some of the forwards for Dallas. Hey, I'd like to think that Dallas just looked at their situation and realized that they were in a big position where they had to respond in game 5, and that was their motivation. But fine, if Dallas wants to, play the Peter DeBoer master manipulator going out and doing his thing, then I guess maybe what we saw was Jared Bednar maybe start to take a bit of a page from that, because Mackenzie Blackwood got pulled or arrested after the second period, and Bednar kind of called out, didn't go scorched earth, but did kind of call out the idea that, hey, listen, at this point in the playoffs, we can't have guys having bad nights, and too many of our guys had a bad night. So now we find out what the Avalanche are made of. Look, if this team, it's not a position that you want to see them in, Will, but I guess if there's a silver lining to it, if this team is made of the right stuff and they have what it takes to be a Stanley Cup winner, well, we're going to find out, aren't we, over these hopefully next couple of days.
Yeah, I wrote that in my story last night at denversports.com. Like, it's not supposed to be easy. And we're going to find out what the Avalanche are made of, because the only way they can win this series now is, of course, in 7 games. Got to win Thursday, get on that plane back to Texas, and hopefully take it in 7 on Saturday. All right, let's just go through this, though, Mike, because, I mean, you settle in, you got a snack, maybe you got a drink, whatever, and you look up at 9 seconds in. The Stars are up 1-0, kind of a fluky bounce. Puck goes off the back of Blackwood. And then even after that, you're like, all right, just get out of the first period down 1. And Wyatt Johnston, puck goes up in the air, hits the back of Blackwood after it hit the crossbar and goes in. I mean, the puck luck, man, like I'm not trying to sit here and make excuses for the Avalanche, but you leave a first period down 2-0 where honestly, I didn't think they played that poorly.
No, and then it's 3-0, and yet they come right back.
Mikko of all people.
Yeah, and they come back, but it's 3-0. Then it's 3-2. And at that point, I think there's still like 7 minutes left in the second period. I'm like, they're going to do this, because even up until that point when they were down 3-0, I know this sounds weird, but it just felt like, and maybe this is just, maybe I'm being a homer. I don't know. I just feel like even down 3-2, I think the Avalanche are the better team. There, I said it. I think the Avalanche are the better team, even though it hasn't shown up yet on the games 1 series part of the series. But that penalty, that elbowing penalty, and Gabe Landeskog came out after the game and said, "Come on, that." Some of these calls were like you don't even see them in preseason. They were preseason calls. Jared Bednar said, "I didn't like the penalty. That's Bednar speak for I hated the call. I disagree with it." It was a he had the elbow up a little bit, but come on, considering how physical this series has been, you don't make that call, and that just sapped the Avs of all their momentum, and they give up the power play goal. It's 4-2, and that's basically the game. But I guess I'm hanging my hat on the idea, Will, that even when they were down 3-0 and the puck luck wasn't on their side, they still kept coming. And, they really put a fear into Dallas that I hope is something that we see carry over to game 6.
Yeah, you mentioned the comments from Gabriel Landeskog calling them preseason penalties. I don't know if you've seen the angle or our viewers have, but people can go to my Twitter at Peterson Will. Jamie Benn on the high stick from Josh Manson. A, he runs into the stick because he knows he can get a call. And B, he flops like we haven't seen a flop in Texas since Manu Ginobili played for the Spurs. I mean, are the Stars shameless? Like at some point they're playing the game. I get it, but they also should be a little embarrassed, I think. With
maybe, but that's part of the rich history of hockey, right? The Rats, just those guys that, I mean, look, we had one here in Claude Lemieux. Claude Lemieux is that kind of a player. Claude Lemieux is like a Jamie Benn. Claude Lemieux is like a Marchment. So, I mean, we've had those kind of players, but it is infuriating. It just drives you crazy as a fan. I'm sure it drives the Avs crazy as players. But, hey, you know, it's if you can get away with it, right? Not cheating if you don't try. If it's not cheating if you're not caught. And so in this case, yeah, Jamie Benn skates right into the stick. Like, oh, boink. Oh, man, didn't see that stick. I mean, yeah, it's shameless. It's kind of cheap. It's kind of like, what are you doing? But I don't know, this time of year, if it helps you win a hockey game, why not?
All right. So, Mike, I got to ask you, as the Avalanche now trail 3-2 in this series, what are the odds, not only that they send it back to Texas, but what are the odds they win the series? Because I think after game 4, all of us were feeling like they're going to do this thing, right? And I thought they were going to win last night. I picked them to win last night, and things just didn't go their way from the jump. But I think as Avs fans, we're having a hard time wrapping our mind around, like, their season can end on Thursday night. That feels too soon for this group.
Well, all right, then let's be blunt here. Let's start kind of rolling out this honor roll, right? Let's call out the roll call of guys who just need to be better. If Dallas can call out some of their forwards that were underperforming and they responded, Mikko Rantanen, Wyatt Johnston, guys like that, then we can do the same thing here with the Avs because we're 5 games in now. So this is a strong sample size. Let's look up. Marty Necas, no goals. Jonathan Drouin, no goals. Brock Nelson, no goals. Cale Makar, no goals. Kiviranta, no goals. Charlie Coyle has 1 goal, but come on, that was a garbage time goal at the end of game 1 when they were already up 4-1 on their way to winning 5-1. So you're looking at a lot of important guys that were brought in here at the trade deadline with the idea that, hey, this depth that we need to improve, we've addressed it with these guys. Well, they're not performing. And so now as you look ahead to game 6 and hopefully a game 7, let's put the pressure where the pressure belongs and is deserved and, you know, call out some of these guys that have to be better. Let's just face it, have to be better if the Avs are going to escape this series.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought those names up because, man, like you and I were 2 of the harshest critics of the Mikko Rantanen trade. And my big thing was always I was going to give Chris McFarland 6 more weeks. And I thought he did a good job in those 6 weeks. But Marty Necas is a ghost right now. And this was the criticism of him in Carolina. Like, he's a good regular season player. Lights get bright. Playoffs come. And Marty Necas, to me, has not done much in this series. I mean, you're right about Nelson, too. Like, he had the assist to Gabe in game 4, which was obviously fun. But he's hitting posts left and right. Nathan McKinnon, I don't know if you caught that, Mike. Second period, when they were down 3-0, he chewed out Charlie Coyle on the bench. And the cameras caught it. I mean, if you're the Avs head coach, GM, star players, you got to be thinking, did we just do a lot of trades for the sake of trades, or did we get better? Like at some point, these have to pay off. We can't just say, oh, they rebuilt the roster when the guys they rebuilt it with aren't really showing up in this.
I mean, look, on paper, we said this when the deals were made. Look, on paper, these were really good moves. On paper, these were the moves that had to be made. They certainly seem to strengthen the team. Jared Bednar came out right after the trade and said, we've changed our identity overnight. We're long, we're tall, we're big from down the middle, all 4 lines at center. So Nathan McKinnon came out and said, this is the best team we've had since the team that won the cup. I never really felt like the last 2 years we were built the right way to win a cup. So everybody felt, and we all agreed that, you know, these were the moves that they were good moves. But, you know, what's the ultimate test? The playoffs, right? And when you look up 5 games in and you're down 3-2 and you're fighting for your survival, and some of these guys that were brought in to be, key, put you over the top guys, are putting up goose eggs. It's got to change. Otherwise the moves did not work, no matter how good they looked on paper.
Yeah, and we won't get into it today, but I wonder about the future of Chris McFarland and Jared Bednar if they lose in Game 6.
That's fair. That's entirely fair, because we saw what the owners of the team across the hall did when they felt like things had run its course.
Yep, fired the GM of the Nuggets and fired the head coach as well. Hopefully, we're not talking about that. Hopefully, they win Game 6 on Thursday, can go take Game 7, steal one on Saturday, and get on to round 2. I will be back with you tomorrow on Mile High Hockey as we really start to look ahead to a must-win Game 6 for the Colorado Avalanche.